Your big butt.
Get off me.
Hey, welcome to Coffee and Candor. This is Chris.
Ross.
Brandy's in trouble. Amber.
And I started that right as you said something about you love his big butt. Just so you know, and I'm not editing anything out.
I love you.
Get off
I'm
me.
sorry I told your secrets. Don't be so neurotic and I won't have funny stories to tell.
So, speaking of stories, so I don't know.
Look at him. He's over there like doing his tongue plotting my death.
I don't know how this is going to devolve. I'm sure it will, but we're going to start with weird shit that Brandy heard while working at the Claims Commission.
Ooh, Lord have
The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah, well, most of them don't use their real names because they have pet names.
Like little smooch.
No, like Precious.
Yeah, that was actually one.
Oh my.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Precious.
Okay. Was Precious a prison bitch?
No, they were married.
Oh. Okay.
They had tattoo wedding rings and everything.
He was a prison wife.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. So, okay, the Claims Commission, and then in addition to doing anything where the state might be sued, we also handled inmate claims. And we handled everything except for civil rights. If it was civil rights, it had to be bumped up to a real court.
Okay.
And I say real court because it's not an actual
it's not a real
judiciary body.
It's not a real court if you can't be tried against a jury of your peers.
Right.
It's a claims court.
Right. And so, for civil rights, they had to have that option.
You have to go to a civil court, yeah.
So, but like things like and there was really no middle ground. Like it was either the most redonkulous shit or just heinous. So fucking heinous where you're like, OMG.
Right.
One guy, he sued us because not because he was allergic to peanuts or anything.
Okay.
But he was pissed that they wouldn't do crunchy peanut butter.
So he sued the state?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he felt it was his right to crunchy peanut butter.
Okay. All right.
It was part of what...
Well, if that's the case, wouldn't that also be his right to not be incarcerated? I believe it's my right to go rob people.
Well, no, he thought... His argument.
The incarceration was okay.
But the peanut butter was the last
crunchy peanut butter, God damn it, that's where we draw the line.
That was the last fucking straw.
What are we, barbarians?
Yeah. And his thing was that the lack of crunchy peanut butter...
affected his mental health?
No, it stood in the way of his pursuit of happiness. Like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Happiness apparently is crunchy peanut butter when you're in the pokey. I don't know. That was one guy. Oh, we had a guy that used to sue every so often about being raped. He, not by male guards, the female guards raped him.
Oh.
Until they broke his willy.
Okay, that's a reasonable thing to sue about.
He wanted to show the...
Yeah, but the whole reason... Yeah, that was his whole reason, is he wanted to present the evidence.
He had made a bet with somebody that he could pull his dick out and not get in trouble about it.
The evidence was his willy.
Well,
and that was his whole point, is he wanted to produce the evidence in court.
All right. I'm telling you, he won a bet. He won a bet.
No, because he never got to produce the evidence in court.
Oh my God!
He was denied his due process.
I don't know that that's due process.
Here's what you have to understand about.
So he just wanted to fucking let it loose, not pictures.
He wanted to make all of us look at his weenie. I don't know if he wanted to on the desk or what, but yeah, probably like that. Now his butthole.
Yeah. What, did a basketball just fall out of there?
But what you have to understand at the time, and I don't know who's doing it now, but at the time...
I still want to know about Precious.
I'll tell you about Precious. At the time, the attorney, because the DOC had several attorneys, and it was one attorney's job to deal with just us.
Okay.
And the attorney that dealt with us at the time, I want you to imagine the plainest, most unassuming, unattractive, and I don't mean ugly, I just mean non-starter. There's nothing remarkable about this person and their personality, their dress, their bearing, their person, nothing.
I'm thinking of a person.
I know who you're thinking of.
Okay.
And
I think everybody does.
That person is a supermodel compared to this woman.
Oh God.
But and
That is some unfortunate shit.
And personality wise, even just
Jesus Christ
never,
on a cracker.
you know. And that was the attorney at the time. Like, take the old librarian.
I hope this individual was a phenomenal attorney.
Not really.
The bar's pretty low.
Yeah.
So, when you look like that,
if she was a real good attorney, she would have been doing the bigger stuff.
you get the dick cases.
Yeah. So no, imagine the old school marm, unattractive, plain librarian taken to the millionth degree.
That is sad.
Mm-hmm. And this is who he wanted to present his dick to.
Oh my.
Yeah, he wanted her to
handle the evidence.
He wanted her to photograph it from all angles to see the damage, so that he could prove to us that he needed to show us in person. Yes, I had to.
That's all right. No, that's really good.
I had to enter into our database all this information about this man's junk.
That's pretty fucking funny, though.
It was hilarious. And so when it became a thing for him to have dick-related claims. Because when that didn't work, then...
I think after about the third time, be like, dude...
Put your wiener away.
This is the last claim you get that has to do with your genitals. So you fucking better make it good.
What was that you pointed out to me yesterday? Dude gets bit on the crotch by a spider again.
Again?
Yeah. Remember it was a guy in the porta potty in Australia?
Oh, yeah.
It happened to him twice. It was like this.
You think he'd learn after the second time.
Keep your dick out of there.
Yeah.
And so...
Don't use the porta potty.
Yeah. And so this guy, it was then he started getting weird bites on his dick, and one time he was
he needs to tell that motherfucker to stop.
One time he was attacked by a swarm of ants all over his dick.
Wow.
Yeah,
so female prison guards.
And I was like, quit putting honey on your dick.
Some nasty bitches.
But yeah, that was just it was an ongoing thing. So, you'd see, and you talk about a man's junk enough, you're going to start to recognize his name. So when
no, this is Henry Junkelstein.
when a thing would come in, you'd be like, oh, God, we got to talk about his schlong again. What in the hell now? What's happened to it? Did he get it caught in the weed whacker? He just slammed the door on it? What the fuck?
Dude, you need to fucking keep your dick put up. Keep it put up.
Keep it in your britches, boy.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're doing over there, but you need to stop it. This is the last time we're going to enter this into the database, talking about Billy's dick.
It was a thing, and I mean, this was for 2 years running.
No, I would have allowed that twice. Then on the second time,
we can't prevent them from filing a claim.
No, but you can dismiss it immediately.
Oh, we did, but you still have to read it, enter it, make a case out of it.
Oh my God!
I mean, all about his he was. I know he sat in his cell and was like, all them people are talking about my dick.
He was the pokey legend.
So okay, Precious.
Yeah.
Precious.
Tell us about Precious.
Early on in my career as the court reporter for this entity, we were still going and having hearings at the prison.
Okay.
Because at that time we didn't have the technology to do video conferencing and stuff because it was expensive. And so early on we would go to the prisons, and there was this huge guard that was. They basically told him to just shadow me. So if I needed to go to the bathroom, he would wait because, you know, and because where I would sit would be from me to Amber to these terrible criminals, and so he would stand right here so that if they went to touch me, he could just beat the shit out of them. Oh, nice. That was his job. Okay. So I liked this man. Yeah, I bet. You're my new best friend. I'm a fan. And so anyway, we're at the thing, and when we would do the hearings there, very rarely did the inmates have an attorney. Most of the time, they were their own counsel, and then there'd be
how can you go wrong?
Yeah, really. Then there's the school marm attorney for the DOC, right? And she's sitting there, and the three commissioners and the director, and so there's a room full, the warden's always there. It's a deal. Who was that?
Sookie.
Oh, she's reverse sneezing. Sookie! You okay? You're okay, Sookie Dookie. You're alright, baby. Come on, I'm
Hold on, we have to take a minute. The baby is reverse sneezing.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't hurt them, but it scares the shit out of me.
Well, Charlie does it like almost violently.
Yeah. Sweet Pea used to, and it would just scare the shit out of me. Because it sounds so violent.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're gasping.
And when Charlie does it, it's probably 5 times louder than that. And you know how he gets excited anyway over the dumbest shit. Well,
Baby girl.
Are you okay, Cookie? Yeah, I better. Don't get in your mama's chair. Don't get in your mama's chair.
no, hell no. She almost got her fucking head squished last time. For real, I saw her little head like right there, like, oh!
I'm like trying to
I regret this immediately.
I've made poor choices.
It's that point where I'm trying
You're
to stop
fully
from
committed to sitting down.
but I can't get back up. Kind of floating.
So yeah, we're there, and it's a big deal, though. And so they bring them in. They put them in like holding cells, and they bring them in batches, and like they'll have like 1 or 2 in the hallway, and the one. So we'd been reading about Precious for a while, and Precious was part of his thing was he was not being allowed to be housed with his husband. Yeah, and so
Well, I mean, that seems reasonable.
yeah, so in he talked
Until you got to respond to a domestic violence call in the cell block.
Yeah. So he comes in, and he's wearing, they don't wear orange, they wear white jumpsuits.
Okay.
He's a tiny little man.
Sleeves cut off and it's cut open. He's got it tied.
Deeply unfortunate looking.
High-heeled shoes.
He
He took his... Now listen.
I noticed the way he was walking was very mincing. And so, me being me, if something's weird, I'm going to check it out, And so I look down, I almost lose my shit. I'm like trying not to giggle. I'm trying to be professional, but I'm so desperately going, oh my God, look at this. He had taken his prison issue shoes and he had converted them into come fuck me heels.
Mm-hmm.
How does one do that?
Wedges of paper towel rolls.
Oh.
So he made wedge heels out of them with tape and the cores from paper towels and toilet paper things.
You almost said toilet rapers.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there was some toilet raping
Oh my God.
involved. But I mean, he had those things stacked up, easy 5 inches.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so he sits down and I'm like, and he must not have worn them every day. I guess it was a special occasion, so he was dressed up. And so my friend that worked at the guard, I was like, have you looked at his shoes? He was like, no, they're prison issue. And I was like,
I don't think they are.
Are you sure? And he looked at me and his eyes just got big like, oh, fuck. I'll just never forget it. And this man, do you remember Squiggy off of Lenny and Squiggy? Mm. Now imagine if Squiggy had blonde hair that was so thin you could see his scalp through the whole thing and bad skin. That's what Precious looked like.
Oh, I just assumed Precious was a black guy.
No.
Okay, don't look at me like I'm retarded with a name like Precious.
No.
I'm thinking Gabrielle Sidibe.
That was not
Precious.
That was not his given name.
No.
Is that a fucking fact?
Yeah, that was the name he took when he became someone's wife.
Yeah. And the court refused to acknowledge that name, by the way.
What, Precious?
Yeah. And do you know what he did then? He had it legally changed, so we had to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
I know.
that's pretty classy.
Like, that's the thing that always amazed me about these guys. I mean, I thought, dude, if you had put that much effort, because you're obviously, I mean, you're a little warped and weird and shit, but you're bright. You've got that kernel. If you had just chosen to use your powers for good, what could you have done with your life?
Probably not been someone's prison wife.
I mean, but just because that was some catty level bullshit. Like, I can get behind. Oh, you won't call me Precious when I want to be called Precious. It'll be my legal.
Will now. You're legally bound to.
Yeah. Now you ain't got no choice, bitch.
That is something.
Yeah, because I remember, like, because it was my job to call out the case. And I'd be like,
Billy Bob's dick case number 2.
Charles Robinson, inmate number da 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 da, versus DOC